Hello everybody, welcome back to the Texas Podcast. I am your host Gabe, and today we'll be talking about the action off Galveston Light. The action off Galveston Light was a short naval battle fought during the American Civil War in January 1863. The Confederate raider CSS Alabama encountered and sank the United States Navy steamer USS Hatteras off the Galveston Lighthouse in Texas. The USS Hatteras of 1,126 long tons was commanded by Captain Homer C. Blake and was assigned to the West Gulf Blockading Squadron off Galveston, Texas. The steamer had a crew of 126 officers and men and was armed with 4 32-pounders and 1 20-pounder naval gun. Captain Raphael Semmes commanded the 1,050-ton sloop of war CSS Alabama, which carried 145 officers and men with 6 32-pounders, 1 110-pounder, and 1 68-pounder gun. The encounter between the two vessels was the first combat action of Alabama's distinguished career. At about 3 p.m. on January 11, 1863, Hatteras was on a blockade duty with the USS Brooklyn and 5 other vessels off Galveston when a sail was sighted above the horizon. Captain Blake was then ordered to chase the unidentified ship and Hatteras and to capture the vessel if it proved to be an enemy. The ship was Alabama, and she could not escape. After pursuing Alabama until nightfall just over 20 miles from sea from Galveston Harbor to her position off Galveston Light, Hatteras came alongside of the Confederate ship and demanded that the crew identify themselves. The Confederates called out HMS Spitfire to try to confuse the Union sailors, so Captain Blake ordered a boat to be filled with sailors and lowered for a boarding. But just as the launch shoved off, the Confederates shouted, "We're the CSS Alabama," raised their colors, and opened fire with the heavy broadside on the port side of the Union vessel. The men aboard Hatteras were surprised but returned fire with their much smaller broadside. For 13 minutes the two sides dueled in what Captain Semmes later called a sharp and exciting engagement. In the end, crewmen aboard USS Hatteras fired a single gun to announce their defeat. Hatteras was slowly sinking and Captain Blake ordered her magazines flooded to prevent an explosion. Men began jumping into the water and the boats from Alabama were lowered to provide assistance. At the same time, a boat with 6 Union sailors escaped along the coast and evaded the Confederates who were maneuvering to rescue survivors. 2 United States Navy enlisted men were killed in action, 5 were wounded, and another 118 were taken prisoner. CSS Alabama sustained several shot holes and other damage, but Captain Semmes reported that none of it was serious and prevented the vessel from sailing. 2 Confederate Navy sailors were wounded. After sinking the Union steamer, the Confederates sailed for the South Atlantic. There they were chased unsuccessfully by some of the Galveston blockaders, but no further fighting occurred. Eventually, Semmes made his way to Cherbourg, France, where his ship was destroyed by the USS Kearsarge in another significant battle. USS Brooklyn discovered the wreck of the USS Hatteras the following morning and found that she was resting on the bottom in 9.5 fathoms with only her mast sticking out above the waterline. Her colors were not struck in the battle and were still waving in the breeze when Brooklyn arrived. That is all for the action off Galveston Light. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one.